Howdy folks, Doc here with Last Best Tool, and this is a bit of a tongue-in-cheek video. I'm titling this thing, the 10 best snap-on tools to buy at Harbor Freight, and it's kind of a joke, but it's also serious in that Harbor Freight, they do play fast and loose with their comparisons of tools, but in particular, these tools seem to have some pretty strong resemblance to the snap-on tools, and in many cases come easily within striking distance of either the performance or the value. And when I say the value, what I mean is some of these you don't use all the time, and it's really nice to have good tools, but paying a huge amount for that good tool that you use very rarely, is kind of a conundrum, because the good tool may give you many more years of performance or a few more percentage points of capability, but if you don't have it, it doesn't matter. So anyway, I'll kind of explain that a little further as we go through this. The first one here is this Icon 45-degree 11-inch long nose or needle nose plier. Now, they compare that directly to this one, the 415 CP, which is actually a 15-inch 35-degree bent needle nose. It doesn't really matter which one because they're all very expensive. But anyway, the bent nose, long nose, needle nose are not often used. It's not a heavy use tool, and because of the kind of the flexibility in the handles, the long reach, things like that, it's not going to be probably a hard use tool. Maybe you'll use it for many years, but other tools get used constantly and under more aggressive conditions. So yeah, that's in the list. Next one here is the 8-inch needle nose plier, and this looks like a direct takeoff on the 8-inch talon grip plier, the 96 ACF, which is outstanding. I have several pairs of these, and they are just wonderful, way better than the traditional needle nose in a lot of cases because of the front end. Icon could not totally take that, so there isn't the perfect straight across benefit here, but for the price, it's actually quite a good sturdy tool. No complaints. The next one is the Icon 8-inch 3-position slip joint plier. Now, it's really hard to mess up a slip joint plier. I have had some of the cheapest slip joint pliers, like $1.99 slip joint pliers, and they sort of work. It's not usually the tool that's creating the problem. It's the job at hand. However, to get that third slip joint position for a fraction of the cost, is pretty amazing. They compare it directly to the 47 ACF snap-on here, which is, about 3 times the price, more than 3 times the price. But anyway, if you're interested in a good slip joint still, there you go. The next one, obviously you knew this would be on the list, is the 11-inch long-reach pistol grip needle nose plier. And I've done videos on these. I do have these Icon ones. And the price compared to the snap-on one, they're comparing it directly to the 912 AEP, is phenomenally different. Again, there are some noticeable differences, but they're up in that, that last 10%. So if this is a case where you either don't have the Icon ones, or you don't have any unless you have the Icon ones, well, I have no point in, or no problem in saying get the Icon ones. They're great. Even worse, here's the next one. This is the 6-inch flush cut plier, and I actually did a head-to-head video of this one with the snap-on and then looked at it under magnification, and this actually did a better job. Will it last as long? Is it as precise in other measurements? I don't know, but many times, we compare it directly here to the 786 CF. It's a fraction of the cost. And this is a kind of a fragile tool. It's got a very narrow number of jobs or types of jobs it can do. So I really think this is an outstanding tool, and you can see for an Icon, it's kind of expensive. And that's because of the precision to get those flush cut jaws. It took some extra time, extra post-production grinding, and probably testing. So I do think that that's definitely one to think about. The next one here is the 10-inch long-reach pistol grip plier. This has more of the conventional multi-plier end. If you like the needle nose ones, you're going to love these too. It's a little bit stronger on the front end for when you're grabbing things that you probably shouldn't with needle nose, but when you compare it to the Snap-on version, again, this Snap-on's $95, the 612 AEP. It's probably, again, a case that you are not going to own this unless you get the Icon. You're not going to spend the money on the Snap-on, or get both. It's it's $190 or something for the pair. That's a lot of money for a tool that's got a fairly narrow kind of a job description. The next one is the 9-inch adjustable joint channel plier. This is very similar to the channel lock. Now, this one's $18 on the Harbor Freight website. The Snap-on version, the 91 ACP, is $51. Now, neither one of these tools, I think, is all that great. So if it's not that great a tool, then you might as well get the inexpensive one. I did have the Snap-on. I got rid of it because I didn't like it. I did end up buying a collection of pliers, and it was in that, so I've got one again, but I don't think it's a great design. It was in its day, but there's so much better. Anyway, next is the what they call the 21-inch S-jaw quick adjust plier, or as we often call it, the PWZ, and then a size. Now, I chose the biggest one here. This is the PWZ 3A comparison. Here, the Icon, it's a 21-inch. Why? Well, because these are pretty crude tools. There's not a lot going on here. You're not working with a high degree of precision, and this one, to me, the value increases rapidly as the size goes up. Because remember, if you look at that Snap-on again, it's $176 versus the $40 for the Icon. And again, as a crude tool, it'd be nice to have the Snap-on, but if you're going to put it through its paces, bending metal and turning big bolts and things like that, you might start out with something and see if it really suits your needs. Next one, obviously, is going to be a ratchet. In this case, the 3/8 professional flex head ratchet with comfort grip. Now, the direct comparison listed is the FHF80A at $170 compared to the $45 of the Icon. However, what I found kind of interesting is this is the traditional soft grip handle of Snap-on, but they have since released another handle, and it's, some people love it, some people hate it. I've tried it. I look at it and think, yeah, it's kind of the same, except it's going to get or show dirt a lot faster and oil, etc. But Icons looks very similar to the Snap-on. However, the Icon came first. So I think this might be one of those unusual cases maybe where Snap-on copied Icon. I don't know. What do you think? And lastly is the 3/8 drive stubby low-profile ratchet. This isn't a flex head. It's just a straight across one, super handy. And it's nice to get the meat of that ratchet in a very small form. This is $30. The Snap-on version looks a little different, sort of. This is the FK80 for $127. Notice the very end of the handle, the way it flares out. Kind of compare that. This is actually, the Snap-on is actually a divergence from the traditional Snap-on handle. So if you go back or go into some of the Snap-on designs in all chrome, you'll see that it's a pretty close take. Anyway, those are my thoughts on the best Snap-on tools to buy at Harbor Freight. Let me know if you have others in mind, but these are the ones that I came up with. And with that, Doc out.